We'll join the show, Dafne Shimizu from the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Congrats, Dafne. Well, it really rapidly evolved for you. We had the implementation plan of the stimulus payment approved, and then bada boom, bada bing. Now we got the, $107 million, Dafne? Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Chris. And good morning, Guam. So, yes, our implementation plan was approved just early Tuesday morning Guam time. And, shortly after that, just yesterday, we received all the money. Well, we received $107,800,000 of the $134.8 million that we were approved for. And so that's very exciting.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah,
Hello?
that's an understatement. So, of course, people's first question, Dafne, is how soon?
Oh, sorry. No, excuse me, and I'm like echoing back to myself, so I'm having a little bit of a hard time. But in any so, with regards to the payments, what's going to be happening is, we're targeting to start printing checks early next week. We're, of course, in the process of what we have to do is we have to coordinate with the IRS and the Treasury each time we make payments. We're coordinating with them because we need to make sure that we don't make duplicate payments. So over the next few days, we're going to be working on some level of reconciliation. And after we're done with that reconciliation for this week, we're going to go ahead and print some checks. And so we're excited to get those monies out to our people. I know our people have been waiting for this, and we're very excited to get to them.
Okay, is this any of this like direct deposit, or it has to be printed out, or?
Well, for right now, we're making payments through via check, and so all of the payments will be made by check.
That's just easier, right? They just print them out.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right.
Well, I mean, it's also difficult at this time, most especially if we're trying to get these payments out, to try to get direct deposit information from people.
I see.
And especially since we want to get them out as soon as possible.
Daphne, how many people do you anticipate will receive a stimulus check based on the $107 million that you guys have?
When we had done our estimate early on, when we were at the beginning of the process with communicating with IRS, and we came up with the $134.8 million. We were saying that could be upwards of 60 to 70,000 people. And again, taxpayers, not people.
Right.
So, I mean, in terms of number of people, there are, again, if you have to think about it. And I'm sorry, I'm echoing back to myself, so I'm having a very hard time.
We can hear you. You sound absolutely fine here on the radio. Okay.
That's better. Sorry. So it's hard when I'm echoing back to myself.
Right.
But in any event, so what's happening now is, so with regards to the number of payments, we're estimating upwards of 60 to 70,000 payments. But in terms of number of people that are going to be impacted, that's well over 100,000, people. And so that's the expectation. So, of course, the IRS did approve they approved 134.8, and then, upfront in advance, we received the 107.8 million just yesterday.
So, Def, 60,000 checks? How many? Is it going to be in batches? When you start printing them early next week, what is going to be the run of checks? How many checks are you going to print in a sitting?
Well, that's something that our team is still having to discuss because, of course, I mean, the reality of our situation is, we're dealing with, having to manage as well because of social distancing and other things. So, the number of checks, that's something that I don't have right now. Yeah. But, once we have that, our team's going to be discussing that, and that's going to be something as well, we'll be communicating to the public.
Are they all going to be mailed out? Is that how it's going to go?
Yes, they will be mailed out. But, would it be okay if I talked a little bit about the tax year that's going to be used? Because I know that's been one big question.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there have been a lot of questions regarding that. And I want to make sure before I even, talk about the year that I say thank you to, to Secretary Mnuchin and to also IRS Commissioner Reddick for recognizing the very fundamental kind of differences in the infrastructure of Guam and the territories versus IRS. The IRS, they probably have 70, 80%, if not more, online filers. Guam, we have less than 3. We're fortunate if we have 2%. So because of that, because of the recognition that there are significant infrastructure differences between Guam and the IRS, the IRS and the Treasury had approved special language for the territories, and so in terms of the tax year, if you filed your tax return for 2019 and Guam DRT has processed a valid 2019 return at the time that we certify EIP to be paid, then it's going to be based on 2019. But if you haven't filed a 2019, or if you filed a 2019 and it hasn't been processed by Rev and Tax, and you have a 2018, a validly filed 2018 return, then it'll be based on 2018. So there is a validly filed and processed language that was added to our implementation plan, so that way again we could accommodate for and make sure that we accommodate for the differences between the processing that's being done by the IRS and Guam. And so it's validly processed 2019. If you have a validly processed 2019
can you
return,
just, sorry, Daph, can you just
Sure.
define validly processed? I mean, I know it might seem like
validly, Sure. So when we say validly filed, and so if you think about in terms of refunds where we say they're error-free, so if it's basically an error-free, like a validly filed, we would basically kind of, equate that to being an error-free 2019. So if it's a validly filed and processed, so error-free 2019, and then processed by a Rev and Tax and in our system, then it'll be based on 2019. And that's based on the time that we're going to make payment. And if that's not, and if there is no validly filed 2019 processed return in our system, then we're going to look to the validly filed and processed 2018 if there is one.
Mm-hmm. I had a question. So we received 107 million. Are we going to deduct the 11 million first from that 107 to reimburse for fronting the 11 million for the people that made 10,000 or less?
Well,
Which would mean
what I'm focusing on right now is really trying to just get payments out for the next group.
okay.
So we want to make sure we get those payments out as soon as possible to this to the next group of people, because that is so hugely important. And so really my focus, I wasn't sure when the payments were going to be coming to Guam. I knew that the IRS and Treasury had committed to making sure it was as soon as possible, but I didn't. I never contemplated that it would be within a day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
which is great news for us.
Mm-hmm.
But on the backside here, I'm sorry, of course, in the background in Rev and Tax, that has meant as well that we need to move pretty fast to make sure that we do reconciliations and all of that. So my focus really has been, and our number one priority is to get payments out, to the people who have not received payments, and again, that's our focus. But of course, then working to make sure we track back, and then we as well work on getting the reimbursement for those monies for the ones that were advanced with local funds.
Mm-hmm.
Daphne, I know that.
I was going to ask about the local funds, but go ahead.
No.
And on probably the local fund issue, that's more perhaps Director Burns' area. So I may not be able to answer the questions on the local fund issue.
Right on.
Okay.
And what about, I know that child support, those people owe child support, that's the only thing that could get garnished from these stimulus checks. Is that accurate to say?
Right. So with regards to any garnishments, people have taxes. I know people are still concerned about that, if they have outstanding taxes or if they have payments that are due to GMH. Those will not be garnished for. It will really just be for child support only.
Okay.
And
And if they have questions about child support and what that means, they'll have to contact the AG's office. The mechanics of it are that we receive a list or like a file, a download file that we upload into our system, and how that file is generated, that's not something that at Rev and Tax we're technically competent to advise people on. So if people are concerned that maybe they may be on a list, or because they owe child support and they're concerned that it may be garnished for that, they'll have to contact the Office of the Attorney General to confirm.
Mm-hmm. How's this work? So DRT is going to cut the checks and then DOA is going to mail it out, or will DRT?
Absolutely, right. So it'll be pretty much the same process that we've been doing for refunds, where Rev and Tax processes, and we print and process we process all the returns and all the payments, and we print out the checks, and then we transmit them to the Treasurer of Guam, and then of course the Treasurer of Guam, of course they have to make sure that everything's signed and then stamped and mailed out to our people.
Mm-hmm. And so for the local Programmen Lapia Dudeni Tautau. How does that work?
You know what, and that's something that I'm not. I only
That's all
understand in a
DOA.
general sense. But
Okay.
that's
So you're
really
not printing the
being
checks there at
public
Rev and
health.
Tax.
No.
That's
all
those-
DOA.
yeah,
We
no,
just want
we
to
only
make sure
have-
your printer's okay. Do you have enough printers, Daphne? Because
Well-
there's some CARES Act money that came in. We could, maybe we need to buy a lot of printers.
and so we're, again, that's why we're really, we're really, we hope to print the checks out soon. We want to, of course, accommodate for any, other issues that may happen with regards to, system issues and other things.
Yeah.
So we're targeting next week. And, our team, the great thing is all along our team has been working with our internal and external vendors. Our Office of Technology team has been so receptive to making sure that they, keep in contact with us, that they monitor things. There's so much coordination into doing a program like this, especially, I know it's been a little bit more than a month since the CARES Act has passed, but the reality is that even this amount of time is really a short period of time to turn around a program of this magnitude. There's a lot of coordination that's been involved. So, our Office of Technology, who assists us with our printers and with making sure we print checks and things, they have been with us all along, and they've been monitoring, and so I'm confident in them and their abilities. So, we're excited again, like I said, to get these payments out.
Mm-hmm. We have a question here. People receiving SS already have direct deposit. Are they going to take that route?
So people who receive, with regards to the issue of Social Security recipients and veterans disability recipients, that was something that, we had been going back and forth with IRS and with regards to, and so we really, it was just over the weekend that, we really began to get some certainty as to whether or not Guam or the Treasury would be the ones making payments. So for the individuals receiving veterans disability and Social Security, those payments were going to be made out of Guam. Now, if people have filed, there are some Social Security and veterans disability recipients that file actual tax returns. And if you filed your, 2019 or 2018 tax return, then, you will not have to be concerned about doing anything else because, you're going to be in the Guam DRT system. If you don't normally file, you're going to have to determine whether you need to file, and if you do need to file, you'll file 1040. If you fall below the threshold and meet all the requirements of our non-filer form, then you'll file that non-filer form. And, if you don't mind, I just wanted to share as well with regards to the non-filer form. You can not only find it online,
Right.
At the PDF online, but
It's
also
on our website too, Daphne.
Yes, and thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
KUAN, for
Of course.
doing that. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll tell you, I know a lot of people are logging on to your website and getting them, so I appreciate that. But I also have engaged our mayors, and I want to thank our mayors and the Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director, Mr. Angel Sablan. I spoke with him yesterday. So, our mayors have also been so gracious, and they want to help our people. They actually have forms available at their offices. I know definitely the Dededo Mayor's office does have one because I was advised earlier that somebody got a form from that office. So, thank you to Mayor Melissa Tavares and actually to all the mayors for their, continued contribution in trying to make sure that our people are able to get the forms, because we know that right now it's a very difficult time to get paper and to get, to print things out.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you to our mayors for being so gracious and making sure that that's available. Over the next few weeks, though, we will be launching an online form. So, for those people who are not able to file now for whatever reason, within the next few weeks, we're targeting to have our non-filer form available online so that you can register, get online, and actually file online. And so those are things we've been working on, and we've been working up to, and as soon as that gets launched, we'll let you know as well.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, I just want to say thank you again to the media, to you, Sabrina and Chris, and to everybody, just, for working to get good information out. I want to thank our people for being patient. I want to share that, if there are any questions or concerns, to please contact Reverend Tax. We have set up a call center. We have our, Guam EIP at revtax.guam.gov email address. And also, I as well want to share, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of different podcasts. I mean, I get these different little, I'm sorry, I don't know, they're WhatsApp messages that people send me, and they ask if this is true. And a lot of times they're not. So, the agency that's responsible for administering and providing the guidance on it is really Guam DRT. So if you have any questions at all, please call us. Like I mentioned, our customer service, or our income tax supervisor who takes care of customer service, she was actually like answering emails at 8 o'clock last night. So we're going to do our best to service our people the best we can. We're going to get these monies out to our people as soon as we can. And you know what, I mentioned the other day, I really, at Rev and Tax, we're here. We want to do our best to service you all, service our people, make sure that you all have this money, and we're here, and we're going to do our best to do so. We love our island and we love our people, and we're here to serve.
God bless Guam.
Thank you.
Viva
Thank
Stimulus.
Viva DRT, Viva Guam, and thank you so much, everyone.
All right,
Okay,
thanks,
thank you, Daphne.
Have a great day.
You
That's,
too.
wash your hands.
All right. I know there's still a lot of questions that you may have. So, again, the call center numbers are 635-1840, 635-1841 or 42 or 57. You can also call 635-7603, 04 and 06. And they are recommending, because there's a lot of people who are calling, email Guam EIP at revtax.guam.gov.
And also, call over there to 311 because they're lonely. Maybe they have that info too if you can't get